So this is the last round of questions, I think, as we move towards closure. Well, kind of.
The name is Loli Babavu. I'm from Hollard Insurance. I think mine is more of a declaration of interest. We'd love to hear about the 100 that are being piloted and how they're doing. And I think more often than just waiting for the very end of it to say whether it was a success or not, and to take on those learnings as quickly as possible so we can look at how we can go back to our own systems, replicate, and just do it better so that we can actually help to solve this problem.
Thank you. Very specific. In fact, Sylvester, can I ask you to just maybe share a few reflections in your closing remarks on the cohort that we currently have? Questions? Mike?
Thanks, Makona. My name is Mike Stewart from the WorkFit campaign. We are a project to support the public TVET system, to understand youth employability better, and to build that into their institutions and into their programs. So we're working on the supply side of the part of the ecosystem that you're working in. And this is more a statement of support. This is a very clearly thought out idea. I know there's years of experience behind this, and we'd like to support you going forward. I've worked in this space for 18 years. I'm familiar with a lot of the challenges, especially on the supply side around qualifications. The CHE is the body that develops the university qualifications. They meet 4 times a year to approve qualification registration. That environment is not going to bring the kind of flexible, responsive, agile solutions to credentialing that this country needs. We do need them, as Anthony said, there's a space for that, it's important, but it's not going to have an impact on the youth employment problems that we have. So I think your focus on alternative credentialing and signaling is a key area. If you can break through in that, you're going to break through in a very important way. And also your emphasis on micro enterprises, because the formal economy is not creating enough employment opportunities. So I think these are, you're headed in a really good direction, and we'll support you, and we hope for the best.
Thank you. Are we really highly charged? I'm wanting to see that, so people are going to sign up and say, yes, let's go. I think, Nazreen, you've kind of kicked us there that, you know what, it's about time we really grab this thing and run with it. Another question there?
Just going to keep speaking up. Beautymas Zibuga, I work at ESCOM. I just want to echo the question you're saying on the readiness of the employer. It's a great initiative. You're doing a lot on the other side, but the other side of the chain, I think there's a little bit more that needs to be done there in terms of what happens with the learners, the graduates, the interns. You know, right now at ESCOM, the experience we have is that because of the financial challenges we're facing, we now have had to change and sort of like let go of the learners, something we never used to absorb, as many of them, all of them actually, until like 2 years ago, because of the constraints that we have and everything else that is happening. We now have to let them into the market. So what do organizations do in that environment where they now have to let the learners into the market? So there's a little bit of more work that needs to be done on the other side as well.
Okay, I think, Peter, do you want us to take your question?
Just a comment, just a very interesting comment.
Okay.
I was in Richards Bay last week, and all over the place, people are trying to get learners placed and so forth. And a few employers turned around and said, we're happy to take these people, but we don't want to be the employer of them. We don't want to be seen as employing them, because trade unions are telling us, why are you letting people go? And then you're taking on these new people. Doesn't make sense. So there are some serious realities we have to deal with.
Absolutely. I mean, I would be the first one. I think my colleagues from the construction sector here would attest to that in fact, there's huge barriers in terms of, trade union blocking this. And I think this is, I think, another example that speaks to the ecosystem, because they must be part of the ecosystem. And in fact, we have actually identified this in our discussion. And even though I mentioned this in passing, but this is one attempt, including, I think you have what is it called? The Demand 2, which is meant to help employers really prepare for these young people, and also give them a few tips on how to guide them during their placement, as I said, even post the placement. In fact, it's now, Janet, ready to be updated, even though we've had it for, a year and a half or so, but it's ready for updating. Can we take Benice's question, and then we will ask Anthony to respond?
It's not really a question, it's just an answer to the question of what do you do when you have to let these learners go. We've experienced that in our own industry. We've developed a process and a system whereby we then are able to track the details of the learners or the students who've been through our business and match them to entry-level positions as they come available and invite them to apply for those. So there are ways that it can be done. One just needs to be creative.
Yeah,
thanks.
Absolutely. Thanks for that, Anthony.
Sorry,
just one final comment.
Oh.
Yeah, just one final comment. So, I don't know if it's an elephant in the room, but is there representation here from local government, municipality at all?
Not yet.
Okay, so now, in terms of just from a plumbing point of view, if you want to take all of those 7,500 people and place them tomorrow, right, you have a very important acronym there, IRM. In the middle there, it's repairs, at the end, it's maintenance. If you had to just maintain pumps in your local municipality, simple pumps, things at the waste management plants, that will provide employment for a single person for the rest of his life. But these things aren't being done. So there's a really important elephant in the room that needs to be discussed, is the allocation of funds that can employ these people that, us as private companies, we are just battling to stay afloat. We're trying to hire the best, get rid of the worst, just so we can function. But then there's this whole untapped pool of work that is out there, and it's unlimited, continuous, in perpetuity of work at municipality level, and that is just not working at all. And that's where we want to be. I want to work there.
Can I ask, maybe Sylvester, I want to put that question to you in terms of your closing remarks from the experience in Orange Farm, because we've had some interactions, or Harambee has had some interactions with the city. So, yeah.
And I think it's a very good example, and it can be applied in a range of contexts. If we look at all the solar water heating on the rooftops of a range of houses across many townships in this country, who's repairing and maintaining those solar water heatings? And we, through our solar water heating project, and engagements with the local government, that opens up a range of opportunities. There's a myriad of examples of that, like who's maintaining public buildings, schools and clinics and the like. So I think that once we start opening that conversation, there's a range of those sort of opportunities that exist in the township economy that we could those. But I think the important thing here is that all of these issues you're raising are the critical issues that we've got to overcome collectively, because no one can solve it on their own, right? We can't solve the supply side on our own, and we work with partners in that. We definitely can't solve the issues around what happens in the workplace alone. We need to work collectively to unblock some of these things. We need to find creative ways to do it. And I appreciate the very positive comments that have come, constructive comments, which is not to say we have the answers and you don't have the answers, none of us have the answers. But the willingness to engage, to be a willing partner in this thing, to find some of the solutions, and even if it only means you take 10 candidates, as a starting point, just to test it out. And we've said to our employer partners, let's just test it out. Let's find a creative solution. If it means that we work with a partner who places candidates in your workplace, but they're not necessarily on your books, and we've done that in some cases, like with the YES program, where they're not necessarily, even in the hospitality one, I can use a very practical example of how we've done that. where you can place candidates, but they're not necessarily employed by the hotel per se. I mean, there's ways of doing this. You know, we can find creative solutions. We have to maximize all the opportunities in the ecosystem to do it, and there's no one size fits all. That's the key thing. So we just need to open up the conversation, and if we've got employers who are willing to work with us to find collective solutions, then we can do it. And it's not going to, that's why we say 7,500, we don't say 50,000. Because if we said 50,000, we'll be fooling ourselves. You know? If we can get 7,500 placed in the next 3 years, we will feel like we've really broken something, because these roles will have a multiplier effect. You know, there will be pathways to artisan status and maybe even and to become operators or whatever it is. There will be pathways to market. There will be a range of opportunities. So we want to make sure that we do it in a manageable and responsible manner. The issue about the pre-selection, sorry, I didn't respond to that because that's quite an important one. We're not looking to exclude. So we're not changing selection processes in colleges to say, oh no, you only take those candidates and you don't take those, right? What we're saying is, from the demand side, what are the types of candidates that are going to play these kind of roles, right? So that we can make sure that in the selection process we begin to earmark which are the kinds of candidates that will best suit. Which is not to say that we want to say, oh, well, you can't come to this college if you can't do that. It's just to say that different candidates who come into the colleges come there for different reasons and come with different aptitudes, and we want to give them the best opportunities possible to, which means we have to change mindsets around how we support young people when we're doing our selection and how we advise young people when we're doing our selection. So we want to manage it, This is all about responsible management and accountability collectively. Nobody must be excluded. It's got to be inclusive, but it's also got to suit the demands of the employer at the end of the day, because otherwise we're never going to get traction.
I suppose what we're really saying is that we've got to be quite bold and brave in tackling these blockages, because all of us experience them in one form or another. And I really am wanting to hear employers saying that we are all for it, we are prepared. But I think you can win that argument if you are able to demonstrate what is possible. And I think that's precisely why we're staying below the radar, but then to surface when it's time to actually show what is possible. And Nora, we do need SETAs here as a willing partner, because some of the challenges to the system have to happen, in the SETA system. And it's interesting. I speak under correction. Is it the NSD? The new landscape document is out for public comment, and you have 21 days. And the last day is when? Bev?
14th of September.
Huh? Is it 14th of September? Yeah. And I think these are also opportunities where we can, as employers, really begin to engage in a much more meaningful way with these sort of issues. But we're really trying to galvanize action here and realize that actually what we're trying to do, you have to undo a whole lot of things until we get the rhythm. We will have to inherit, I think, some of the messy bits, but those should not be hindrances for us to actually get to the point where we want to get to. Are there any last burning questions before I ask Sylvester to wrap up? Bev?
Thanks, Makana, and it's Bev Jack, the representative. I just wanted to bring one issue up in terms of us talking about demand. And Makana is talking about the NSDP landscape, which is a structure. But I think one of the big issues that I think we're tending to miss, and I know we've got to address, and we talk about demand, but I think we've got to look at how do we create the new demand. Because we're spending a lot of time talking about employers, but we know employers in the formal sector are not going to have the absorption that we're actually looking for. And you know, I specifically look, Anthony, you spoke about, and it's one that talks to me. I sit with Meccano and the team on the Job Summit. But tourism has a huge opportunity for us. And the bottom line is we need to actually look at how do we create that demand. And it's a new demand and new jobs in new areas. And I think the formal sector can play a huge role in helping it to happen. But I think, and we talked this morning, the word innovation, but I don't think we're innovative enough in terms of saying how do we create those new jobs and those new roles. And I think then we'll make sure that there's a policy environment to support it. But some of that has to come from us as a collective, putting our heads together and making it happen. And I don't have the answers, but I don't think we're exploring broadly enough and more innovatively. I had the opportunity to travel to Russia quite recently, and I went into the rural environment, and I visited schools and I visited local homes, all done through local TVETs. And I've seen it in many other countries as well. But we can't expect the youth in rural environments to seek this up. We need to create it for ourselves. So it's just like Mayor's, a parting shot to us to start saying, how do we take initiatives? And I really salute Harambee and the work that's being done. But I think we need to take it to a different level and look at it from a different angle as well, because we have a huge challenge in what it is that we need to do.
Thank you very much for that. This has really been a useful discussion. We have, I think, sometimes the way you judge a good discussion is that you have more questions than answers. So we have quite a lot of food for thought. I think the team will be engaging on the suggestions, but also we're going to be knocking at your individual doors, because as I said, we really want you to come along on this journey. As Anthony said, even if you take one person, 2 people, but we really want to get the ball rolling. And we feel that, in fact, we're more than assured that we are actually kicking the right ball this time around.